hello there, welcome back. Yeah, this video is about crazy as hell sequels. It was inspired by watching Spiral, the crazy weird ass sequel to, you know, The Ring, or Ringu. There's a couple of ones I'll mention earlier that I've already covered in other videos, so I'll just say go watch the other videos, they're on my channel. You'll get what I'm going on about, which is Batman Returns. Yeah, I've talked about Batman a few times, Batman Returns a few times. We've got Exorcist 2, it's another one. Go see my video on it. It's a fun video, I think. I love that film, but it's weird as hell. I'm trying to see if there any other ones that are covered I haven't covered yet. I think that's everything that I haven't covered, so I can now go into the films I haven't covered. But crazy sequels are one of the lights. When I hear they've given a sequel to someone insane, that's delightful to me. I mean, all the directors come back to make a sequel and they're not very happy with the first one and they want to try and do something bizarre with it and they just go nuts. Like Tim Burton Batman film. Again, it's just wonderful. I just love it when the sequels get crazy. I mean, there's sequels that are bad crazy though. I mean, you've got the Alien sequels, some of the Alien sequels. They're bad crazy. They're crazy, but they're not interesting. There's nothing to them to talk about. So I wouldn't say they're on the good side of anything. They're just meh. Don't look at them. Same with Terminator sequels. I've covered them. They're bad crazy. There's nothing to them. Okay then, first up is Gremlins 2, the crazy ass sequel to Gremlins that Joe Dante made after he turned down the sequel for years. Then he said, we'll let you do whatever you want to do. And he made them pay for that by doing this insane sequel where he took the piss at the first film. He stopped the film halfway through as if the film had been twisted in projector, and then it turns out the Gremlins were doing these funny little things with their hands. It had to be stopped by Hulk Hogan, pre-sex tape scandal. He has Leonard Maltin coming on and trashing the first Gremlins in the video review. He has Gremlin musicians, Gremlins with bat wings who end up being a bat signal against a wall. There's mad scientist Gremlins with glasses who wants to be civilized. There's, you know, transgender Gremlins. It just goes on and it does not give a crap about this story. It does not care. The story's just a setup. Basically what happens was the Gremlins get loose in a city, this smart building. This is a parody of something that hadn't existed yet, which was the smart technology. We now get a smart TV, a smart this, smart that. As if the people who are making these devices are a bit nervous about how smart the devices actually are. So this is a smart building from the late 80s, early 90s, which apparently can do anything, but it doesn't work at all. And it's like a yuppie paradise, but it doesn't work. And the Gremlins get loose in it. So they're stuck in this one building in New York, and they're waiting for night time so they can get out and attack New York. So it's them trying to figure out how to kill the Gremlins before night time comes. And while the Gremlins are waiting for sundown, they go mental. They really go mental, and they just are, you know, there's this science wing which they attack, and that's why all the mutations happen. They are trying different, they just take the piss at the rules of the first movie. Gizmo from the first movie goes Rambo on them. They just try to kill them. They push them too far. Like the lead characters from the first one are back, but they're just ignored. Completely ignored. Like the film does not care about them at all. And it's just insane. I mean, the whole film is just insane. It's just wonderful how little interest it is in being conventional. It's like they made the studio pay for this bizarre film that was just nuts. It's wonderful. It's like I've seen it way too many times. For me, it's a perfect way to make a sequel. You know, just take the piss at the first film. It's the same thing with Batman Returns. That was taking the piss at the first film as well. They both were Warner Bros. Films, at least a few years apart from each other. But they had the same idea, as they were not going to treat the first film with lots of respect. And both were furious disappointments. Okay, next up is, you know, Highlander 2. Now, it depends what version you've got. Highlander 2 is a complete mess in every possible respect. It's disastrous. It's awful. And if you see the theatrical cut, your jaw will be on the floor over how bad it is, because it makes no sense whatsoever. You're like, It's like the whole bits have been cut out of it. Some bits weren't even filmed for it. Sean Connery turns up from the first one. Even though he died in the first one, he turns up, appears for like 2 minutes, then gets killed again for no apparent reason. And he's terrible in it. He's just awful in it. And there's an environmentalism plot that goes nowhere. There's all these fight scenes that go nowhere, and it's like, why is this happening? I don't know. Basically, it's just one of those films that nothing makes any sense in it. They keep on trying to re-edit it. Oh yeah, and by the way, the Immortals from the first one were actually aliens from the planet Z. They're human-looking aliens, so everything didn't make any sense. They tried to recut it. Eventually, there's a director's cut came out. Russell McKay went back because he'd had a horrible time in the film and was fired. And he finally came back and shot some more stuff and put it in and redid some of the effects. And the film was now just bonkers, but it's bonkers in a good way. I mean, things are going to be cut better so you understand why they're happening. It doesn't make up for the fact that the plot doesn't make any sense, but you don't have scenes intercut in ways that make everything insane. Now you've got scenes that are just insane. And they're no longer aliens, they're from our past or future or something. There's some, I think it's a past civilization the Immortals come from now. It still doesn't make any sense, but I would suggest if you're amused by Highlander, try Highlander 2, the director's cut. Because it's fun and it's insane. It's just insane. It's sort of like Exorcist 2, and like I can't say that it's good, but it is weird. It's really weird. This film was forgotten and ignored, and they just ignored it and never a sequel. But it's actually the most fun of any of the sequels because it's utterly batshit. And so, okay, next is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This is one that was hated when it released. This was Toby Hooper come back. Another one like Joe Dante, please come back and make this film. Please come back. I don't want to make this film. We'll let you do whatever you want. This was canon, let him do whatever you want. So he had a low budget. He made a comedy out of it. A comedy when the studio was expecting a serious horror movie, and he made a comedy with lots of gore. They were not happy. They were really not happy. And it's wonderful. It's a good combination of like, it's what trying to describe Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is hard. It's what you get when a director literally just goes, fuck it. There's lots of scenes of Dennis Hopper chasing after Leatherface with a chainsaw ad nauseum, but it's funny as hell because Dennis Hopper's way over the top. You have lots of scenes that just go on forever, but they're funny in a weird absurdity because it's taking the piss at the idea of these guys running with chainsaws. It takes the idea of fast food and gourmet food and where does the meat come from. They're basically killing people and serving them, turning these rich into cannibals, these rich yuppies into cannibals, because they're feeding them back human beings in this special stew. And it's just hilarious. It's just a funny as hell film. It just does complete contempt for the idea of making a sequel to Texas Chainsaw. It just takes the mickey out of it, and takes the mickey out of yuppies and where their money's coming from. It's a hilarious film. I can highly recommend it. You'll probably hate it when you see it. So that's my recommendation, means, yeah. Next is Return to Oz. Return to Oz is, you know, It's a sequel to Wizard of Oz, but it's really depressing, and Oz has been turned to stone, and all your favourite characters are stone figures. Dorothy comes back after almost getting electrocuted by these things. People who think she's mad. She escapes in a storm back to Oz to find everyone's stone. There's only a few characters left. There's a new evil queen to kill. This is a woman who can change heads to suit herself because she's so vain. And there's a Goblin King stone guy in the face of a rock. And it's just creepy. I mean, I saw this as a kid, it was creepy. And even now, it's creepy. I mean, the problem with it is, A, it's creepy, and B, the plot kind of... It feels like they had to cut bits out of it, because it sets up and it ends, and the middle section feels a bit underdeveloped. But it's a wonderful, weird film. I mean, George Lucas produced this for his pal Walter Murch to direct it, and so they just thought, oh, George Lucas is doing it, it'll be fine. And then they got this, and Jim Henson was involved, I think, as well. And they got this really creepy, weird film that freaked the kids out. It's wonderful. It's up there with Temple of Doom for Lucas terrifying kids. In the 80s, he spent most of the middle 80s terrifying children. It's great. People forget that I'm talking about George Lucas, what he was doing in the mid 80s to, you know, the movie going audience. You know, he was a sick fuck. Okay, next is Blair Witch 2. Now, I never liked Blair Witch. Right, Blair Witch was it was just overrated. I just didn't like it. I had this problem with it when I saw it. It was like, I live next to the countryside. It's like, they keep on going by the rivers and they say, why don't you just follow the river and you'll get out of the forest quite easily. So getting into the forest, if you get lost, I mean, the basic thing if you live in the countryside is, if you get lost, just follow the river and you'll get out. And they never do that, so I hated Blair Witch because they deserve to die in that film. Sorry, but they did. Plus they're obnoxious, so you want to see them all, get it. The second one is a butchered sequel. Yes, another butchered sequel. It was it was released. Joe Bellinger, the documentary director, made it. He made this thing about how people can... The whole idea of the film was how people can be influenced by things they see if they get too far into it, and if it becomes almost like religion to them. And the idea was, did these people go mad or was it supernatural? And the producer saw it and hated it and added supernatural stuff to keep it in the ambiguity, and they restructured the film, and it was a disaster. But there's lots of bits in this which show what the film could have been and should have been, and it's like some of the actors are quite interesting, so I really like it. I liked the Blair Witch one they did recently as well, so that was kind of fun. It's just I don't like the first one, but Blair Witch 2 is worth a shot if it's really cheap and if you know you're going to see a very flawed film. It's not good, but I wish they'd release a proper version of it, the one with, you know, the original director's cut, because it feels there's a much better film there. Okay, next is Blues Brothers 2000. This is not a good film. Even the director admits it's not a good film. The reason I mention it is because it's crazy, because none of the jokes work. There's a kid in it who's annoying. The plot's meh, but it's got great musical numbers in it, so it's worth seeing for the music. The music's terrific, and it's basically a musical. I mean, there's tons of music. It's almost like they know there's a problem with the film, so we'll put more and more musical scenes in it as possible. And all those sequences are brilliant. I saw it when I came into the cinema, because I'm a big fan of Blues Brothers. And the music's terrific. It's just the rest of the film. So it's a recommendation in that half of it's terrible. But the music's good. The music's really good. Okay, next is Superman 3, the film that annoys a lot of superhero fans, which means I love it. I'm a big, as I've said in other videos, I'm a big Richard Lester fan. And well, this one we made, I think it only gave us that enthused, but he did it anyway. It was he came in Superman 1 to help out when Richard Donner and the producers weren't getting on, and he helped them communicate a little bit, and he helped move right at the ending of Superman 1. Then he came into Superman 2 and had to take over the film after Donner and the producers could not get on anymore, because after they tried to do both 1 and 2 together, and they were halfway through 2 and they just stopped making it and just put 1 together. So he came in and finished 2, and he got a director credit on it. It's kind of a combination of his footage and Donner footage, but there's stuff that's pure Lester in that film. And when you say it's a Richard Donner film, that's ridiculous. It's not. It's a bit of both. You know, that's fine. It's a messy film, but it's, I think they both deserve credit for it. It's one of my favourite superhero films. There's lots of stuff in it that's pure Lester that's some of my favourite bits of the film. So in Superman 3 he came back. I think it was because he couldn't get any film he wanted to get made, so he was like, okay, they're offering me this, I get paid for it, I'll do it, and move on. But at that point I think he kind of had enough of Superman. I think he was never really that keen on it, and he kind of took the mickey out of it a little bit. He made an evil Superman. Superman got infected with something, and his dark side comes out. He becomes selfish, he becomes lazy, he becomes an alcoholic. It's just everything. It's so funny, and he's just a dick, and it's hilarious, that whole sequence of evil Superman, including that sequence where Superman fights Clark Kent. He's split in two, Clark Kent and Superman. They fight each other in this like used car compacting area where they crush the cars. It's wonderful. And there's other bits where Superman's versus Robert Vaughn as the Lex Luthor stand-in, who's trying to take over the world, satellites and stuff with technology. It's fun as well because it takes in mickey a lot of stuff, but it's not serious though. It's just not serious at all. And it's a film that's not taking itself seriously, as serious as the comic book fans wished it would be taken. But it's lots of creepy moments, evil Superman that scared the kids. There was this creepy bit at the end where there's the sister of the villain gets turned into a robot, and all people thought it was creepy. I didn't, but I can see why the people thought it was creepy. There is something about it that's a bit weird. It never got me, but I can see why it got some people. There's something about it that is off. So this is a wonderfully underrated film. It's not perfect in any way, but comparing it to what happened later with Superman, just generally after that film, it looks pretty good now. You know, so yeah, it's a wonderfully crazy sequel. Next is Halloween 3, the Halloween film that does not speak its name. The trick-or-treating mask that's made by a guy who hates children to turn his children into little monsters. That's wonderful. It's just so wonderful. There's no Michael Myers. It's just a beautiful film. It's just wonderful. Soldier Rowan did a video on it recently during the Halloween period. I suggest you go and watch his video on it. It's really good. It kind of covers everything I would say about it, so it's like, just watch that video, because it's a wonderful film. I don't have much else to say beyond what he said about it. It's really worth seeing. I've seen it God knows many times. It's hilariously funny. Like, it was written by the creator of the Creator Mask, Nigel Neal, and then he took his name off it, but it's really worth seeing. Okay, next is New Nightmares. New Nightmares, West Coast New Nightmares. It's about Freddy coming into the real world. In my other video I talked about The Ring 2. The Ring 2, the American version, is very much a rip-off of this film. This massive amount of scenes are just taken from this film. But this film does it right, it grounds the film in the myth of Freddy and the myth of horror movies, and does it all right. Just this creepy idea of fiction world hitting into the real world, and how it doesn't make any sense, but doesn't mean the threat's not there. It's just creepy in a weird way, because it could be a bit madness, so it could not be, and there's something unsettling about this film, and it's really weird. It's one of those few films that actually did creep me out when I saw it. It was just really, there's something going on in this film that's really wonderful. But I don't want to say anything to spoil it. It's best to see this as fresh as possible. So just a recommendation, go see it. It's really good. You either love or hate it. But if you love, but if it hits your wavelength, it'll really get under your skin. There's something really weird about this film. Okay, next is The Predator, the new one, Shane Black one. I mentioned it in one of the other videos, the end of the year videos. I didn't talk about, when I did my Predator videos, it wasn't out yet. This is a weird film. This is just insane. It's nuts. I mean, the last third was reshot. Everything was, you know, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. Maybe it made sense in the original version, but it does feel like they had lots of ideas that didn't connect. Which means, as a mainstream film, it's a mess. But it also means, as a bizarre sequel, it's well up my alley. Because all the characters are these like PTSD guys, these military guys with PTSD who are all insane, and they're fighting the Predator, or different variants of the Predator, and a souped up Predator. There's tons of weird sci-fi ideas that do not connect at all, but it's just so entertaining. Good or bad, it's so entertaining, because Shane Black, who directed it, it was actually the first one. He's a really good writer, and it's just one of those films where none of his ideas really came together. You know, his stuff he's really good at, and this one, it just didn't work. But it didn't work in a fun, messy way. It's hated at the moment, but I think it'll be liked a lot more in the future. And I think, this is bizarre, this one's bizarre. And that's what it was. It was a really bizarre movie. Next is Shock Treatment. Shock Treatment was a sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was, there's no Frankenfurter. It just follows the two central characters from the first one, Frank and Brad and Janet, and they're going into this world now. It's all set in one location, this one studio, this idea of TV land where this community becomes an audience for this TV show that is on all the time. It's a parody of like American TV, American media, this whole thing of we're going to recreate reality to be something pure and blah 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 blah, you know, something that's something we can sell to the audience as fantasy we can sell back to the audience. So it's completely different from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Same director, same writer, but different actors, a very different tone, very different feel to it. I've only seen it once, but it's really interesting. It's a really unique, weird sequel. I can recommend it as, you wouldn't see anything else like this. But it's also, I can also point out that a lot of his ideas were done by Phantom of the Paradise that was compared to the Rocky Horror Picture Show years before. A lot of the ideas were already done there, and better. But there's this weird tone to this one. And this one has Jessica Harper in it from Phantom of the Paradise. So it's like, it's kind of it's a sequel to one film, but it feels like a sequel to another film thematically that the original film overshadowed, but it's not as good as either, but it's still very interesting. So it's a very interesting little film. I definitely recommend trying it out. It's definitely worth seeing. I don't want to say you'll like it, but you definitely want to see something like this. I mean, it really goes for the blandness, and it might be too bland, it might be too up the world it's in. It might be too much of that world. Because it doesn't have the fun of like some of the Phantom of the Paradise or Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's more creepy and subdued, which I think puts people off it. But it's definitely worth seeing. Right, next is, I'm going to do two really bad ones that I enjoyed the hell out of, even though they were terrible. First was Star Trek 5. Star Trek 5 is, that's bloody awful. It's terrible. William Shatner's only directed film. He allowed to do it because Leonard Nimoy had done parts 3 and 4 and done them well and they were hits. So it's Shatner's turn to do 5, where you get power. And he made an idea of them trying to find God in the centre of the universe, and tons of gods are just based on an alien who's trying to escape from a prison. Yes, that's stupid. I mean, how are you going to get into the centre of the universe? It's gases and it's going to be and hot, and No ship would ever survive that scientifically, even before we get there. No ship could survive that in any possible way. Before you can get to the stupid idea of this guy is promising things to people to come, and God wants people to come to him and bring him out to the universe. But, you know, it feels kind of stupid. And, you know, it just isn't right. I mean, there's interesting ideas about how people need religion for, but it's never explored any way beyond, oh, this guy's talking about perfection. I can be perfect, I can be peaceful. And religion is much more complicated than that. And you just feel when this film doesn't get... It's a snarky idea of religion. And it's a view of religion that's very Californian, very smug. And so it takes that... It's a sci-fi concept, which is also very smug and very stupid. And it has lots of bad effects and lots of bad writing, and it's just terrible. It's awful, but I kind of love it because it's so smug and stupid, and I've seen it way too many times. It's one of my favourite bad movies. And I feel like watching it again after doing this video. It's awful. I saw it in the cinema. It's awful. But irresistible. Speaking of which, Howling 2. This is insane. This is like they Planet the Apes props for the werewolves. They had to try and rework for werewolves. There was... The script didn't make no sense. No one's taking it seriously. Christopher Lee's in it watching it going, walking as if he didn't know what the hell he's doing. The lead actor in it cannot act to save his life, Red Brown. The lead actress is even worse. Anytime they're involved, it's unwatchable trash. But it's enjoyable, watchable trash. Christopher Lee shows up every so often. What's her name? Sybil something. Plays the villainess. She's way over the top, but lots of fun. I can't remember her last name for some reason. Sybil Darling, whatever. I've got it wrong. Someone tell me what it is in the comments. Call me an idiot. It's awful. I'd recommend watching it. You don't have to be sober. It's unbelievably bad. I have it in Blu-ray. Finally, a really good one. I thought I'd end with a good one. This one is Babe 2 Pig in the City. It's a delight. It was hated in release because it was dark. The first Babe was nice and soft and wonderful and sentimental. Second one, they take him to the city for an event. He gets lost in the city, has to move in with all these weird animals in this hotel. And it's wonderful. George Miller produced the first one but directed the second one directly. And it's much more cynical, it's much more faster paced, it's just insane. A lot of people hated it, they couldn't believe what they were seeing because it was just so fast, and I thought it was hilarious, it was so funny, but dark. It's really dark. Of any of the films on this list, I would say definitely watch this one. But try not to know anything about it beyond it's a sequel to Babe. And just get in line for delightful images, delightful camera moves. I mean, this is a director really enjoying himself in this film. It's really wonderful. But try and know as lot about it as possible. What I've just told you is basically the first 15 minutes of the film. I haven't told you anything that really goes on in it. Try and know as little about it as possible. Just go see it. It's amazing. It's one of the best movies of the 90s. And it was hated. It's one of George Miller's best movies, up there with Road Warrior and Fury Road. It's stunningly good. It's wonderful. Anyway, enjoy yourself. I'll speak to you soon.